Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I
Good
am Karla
afternoon.
Scipio from The Woman in My Garden, and I'm really excited today, okay? I'm really excited because I'm being joined by this phenomenal mountain. And I'm not going to use the word strong, but I'm going to talk about tenacious and resilient visionary that's gonna we're gonna have an ordinary conversation where we're gonna talk about what are we telling our daughters, what are
Mhm.
we teaching the young women in our lives, and even those, what kind of example are we showing, we'll talk about characteristics and the character, and just share some of the tools of the trade, share some of the lessons learned. And I have here with me Lindy Ann Wright. Yes, I got Lindy Ann on here sitting at the table. We're gonna talk about women and girls. And Lindy, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you share about who you are. Tell the world who you are, what you
Mhm.
do, and why it's so important.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you for having me here in your garden. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, Carla.
You're welcome.
Well, my name is Lindy Ann Wright, and I am the founder and executive director of the Ivy Hayward Education Initiative in Uganda. Um, It is called IHI Uganda. And IHI Uganda is an education initiative which sponsor, I would say, underprivileged and families in extremely poor communities, not just in the poor communities, because we see the poor, but we don't see those behind the poverty line. So we go behind the poverty line and we meet families, we extend our services to them so that we can offer education opportunities to their children, to students, so that we can change their lives and just impact generations and give them a bright future. So the organization started in 2012, and I work along with an amazing team in Uganda and here. And we just make it happen, for the girls and also for the boys there in those families.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So tell me, I know in your organization that you service not just families, but today our focus is on girls. And tell us about the young women that I'm not going to say work with, but the young flowers in your garden that you love. Tell us how you nurture them, how you nourish them. Um, why it's so important that girls should have an education. Why it's so important that they should have the things that the resources that they need, as it relates to school, as it relates to books, as it relates to nutrition. Just tell us a little bit about what the world looks like for those young people in Uganda.
Yes, yes, yes. One of the things that I share with my daughters in Uganda, they call me mama and I call them daughters. One of the things that I share is that education is the way out. Education is the way out, and education is a once you are educated, no one can take that away from you. They can batter you, they can do whatever they need to do, but they cannot take that education away. And education is actually a tool that they are using to drive themselves out of poverty. In Uganda, these young girls behind the poverty line or even at the poverty line, they are they have very limited opportunities, very limited resources, extremely limited resources. Many of them do not go to school because there are no free schools in Uganda.
Mm,
And the first opportunity that a family may have, if they come into some resources to educate a child, they educate the boy child, they educate the son, not the daughter. Because the expectation is that eventually the daughter is going to get married at a very early age, or they will be married off at a very early age, and then they become childbearing tools, if you want to say, or actually they become just wives. You
Mm,
know, they are the ones in Uganda who you will see carrying the water on
mm.
their heads. You know, the men do not carry the water. So, what we do is that we come in and we give them a different vision that yes, you can be a wife. Yes, you will be a mother one day, though, but you can be more than that.
Mm.
You are much more than that. You have dreams, and your dreams can be realized, though. And your dreams are actually yours to protect and to take to the next level, though, so that it can change your life and it can change the life of your generation to come. So that's what we're all about. We go in there and we give the girls a new vision.
I can feel the passion. I can feel the passion. I see it makes you happy. Um, I see that fire. It lights up that fire. Tell
Yes.
me why. How did you get to this point? And give me a little bit. Give us a little bit of the backstory. Your why and how you got there.
Yeah, yeah. In 2021, I accepted an opportunity with Johns Hopkins University, at one of their sites there, and I worked there for almost 5 years. As I walked the street, or I was going to and fro from work, I would literally see children on the streets, literally during the school day. There will be children on the streets. And one day I saw this little boy. He must have been about 7 years old, Carla.
Mm,
And I was in a vehicle with one of the Johns Hopkins driver, who is a local driver. And I said, why is this little boy, he had on his school uniform and he was walking away from the school, I can tell. And he
mm,
was alone. He was about 7 and he had his little lunch back in his hand. And I said, why is that little boy walking the streets alone and it's school time? I said, if this were in the US, this would be a questionable sight. And he said to me, he knew the answer right away. He said, Madame, that little child was chased from school. It means that the parent could not afford to pay for the school fee. So the boy is chased from the school and he is going home. He's returning home. That broke my heart.
wow.
The boy looked no more than 7, 8 years old, and he was walking alone. He was walking back home because his parents did not have the fees. There are no free education in Uganda. So there was one time again, I'm walking, so that little boy went his way, and now I am, I'm taking my little exercise walk in Uganda, and I came upon this family. It was a girl called Kevin. She was 9 years old, and she was carrying, it's the tradition of the girls to carry the water. She
Mm,
was about 9 years old and she was carrying some water up a hill with her brother. And I just started talking with them, her and the brother. The brother must have been about 10. She was 9 at that time. And I started talking with them. And when I got to their home, I started communicating with the family, and I realized that the kids were not going to school frequently at all. They would go to school maybe whenever the mom would get some money, some income, you know. And I went to that family and offer our services. What if we take the kids to school? Would that be okay for you? And they were so happy. They were so very happy. And therefore, I would say, We started a journey of IHEG Uganda with this first family, as I call them,
Mm,
just by following that little girl on the street and following home and realizing the needs of the family, you know.
wow.
Hmm.
Wow. We tend to look at our own internal circumstances, and there's no comparison because we live in developed places where
Hmm.
education is a right and
Yes.
is free, it's mandatory, and we are able to send our children and give so much to our children. And we're talking about places where there are countries where they are intentionally underdeveloped.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's so important that we who know better, that can do better, can help change
Yes.
what Africa looks like.
Yes.
Because Africa is wealthy in resources.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
there's a need for us to partner with those on the ground, with the
Yes.
right people in place to make a difference through education. And I saw where, you talked about you saw the little boy coming away, going back home because his parents couldn't afford the education. Why is education so important to you?
Yeah.
What are the powers
Hmm.
that when you get a good education, and especially with the girls, what are some of the things that can happen, or what are some of the things that they can prevent happen?
Hmm.
Not
Hmm.
just the early marriages, but what are
Yeah.
some of the things that you've seen that a good education to the girls can prevent or even help?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that question is actually part of my push and my passion, because the giving the girls an education actually provides them with options. It provides them with options.
Mm,
So it's there, in Uganda, a child who is 15 years old, some of I have heard even younger, maybe pushed into marriage because the family cannot afford to feed, that child. Um, but if that child is educated, they have options. They have options, because then they can go forth. They can go forth through their system, which is like O levels, A levels, into university and have a career.
right.
They can have that option for a career. It can empower them, though, to say no when they need to, though. Because you find as well, though, that if a woman is not educated, she sees she sees herself as being limited. What can I do? What else can I do? Well, I have to stay here because this is all that I know. This is all that I can do. So I have no education. You will hear as well. I have no education. I am poor. I am poor. What do you expect me to do? And that is what, those are some of the questions and the statements that I do not want to hear from my girls. So we empower them with an education, though, that gives them options, give them opportunities, though, that they don't feel limited. They don't feel closed into traditional expectations,
Mm,
but their expectations now are their own, are their own. What do you want to be? And so now in my group, I have students who want to be lawyers, doctors, gynecologists, you know, and they are moving towards that goal. as opposed to just a traditional role of we are just the baby makers and we are the housekeepers. No, we are not. No, they are not. They are more than that. And that's why we empower them with education, though. It's almost as if I said, you are in the driver's seat of the vehicle. We are giving you the gas to get there. But we need you to sit in that driver's seat now and take yourself to a new destination.
Come on, somebody.
Yes, take yourself to a new destination. And I tell them that all the time. We are sitting in the car to help you along, but you are in the seat though. Keep focus on your destination. And it is, Carla, so motivating, so beautiful to see the change in the lives of these children. When you go onto the website and people see sometimes my children there,
Hmm.
and they said, oh, are these poor kids? Yes, they are. They are not poor kids. They are extremely poor kids, though. But you see that new light in them because they have the opportunity to go to school every day. They have the opportunity to be fed every day. They have the opportunity to dream color. They have the opportunity now that they realize, wow, the world is now open up for me. And they go towards it. And I like that.
So you bring hope,
Hope.
you bring light,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
bring dreams.
Hmm. To realize dreams.
Yes. Dreams to realization. You
Yes.
bring purpose.
Hmm.
That is so
And
in.
destiny. There's a destination they're heading to
Yeah,
now that's
yeah,
beyond the walls of what is expected of them traditionally.
yes. And we talk about tradition. I know Uganda has also been impacted like other places in Africa by HIV,
Yes,
by widows and
yes,
orphans.
yes.
And that too has been a deterrent to leveling up.
Hmm.
What are some of the other things that we can do to help
Hmm.
push
Hmm.
that vision that God has given you? Because I believe that He placed you in that place, in that space at the right time for a reason.
Yes.
How else can we bring hope to the people,
Hmm.
especially to these widows and these grannies who are trying to raise the new generation?
Yes, yes, yes. Carla, I would say it takes so little to help so much. I tell the sponsors in my organization when I'm motivating them to come on board with us that give up one meal a month, not a week, give up one meal a month at a restaurant, give up one meal. We go to a restaurant, we sit and a meal can cost us now maybe $50, 60. I have sat at a meal when I got up and my bill is over $100.
Hmm.
Very easy, and we pay it and we walk away.
Mm.
And my theme is my request is give up one meal at a table. Give up just one meal, and you can change the life of that orphan. You can change the life of that student for generations.
Yes.
One meal a month, just one meal, because that's about $30 a month. And that can put a child to school. $30 a month can put a child to school for an entire school year and
Wow.
give that child books and give that child a meal every day, which may be the only meal that she or
Wow.
she has, and also give them the textbooks they need. Would you believe that, Carla, there are students in our organization, who we sponsored, we provided school books and we provide school uniforms, new, and they were totally blown away because it was the first time in their life they have had school
Mm,
books. They have gone to school with school books,
mm,
something we take for granted here.
yes.
That school comes with school books. No, you may be able to go to school there in Uganda, but getting school books, having school books, that's not an expectation. That's not just guaranteed. No. So you would see the big smile on their faces when, we provide for them the school books so that they can read. They can read at the school. They can read at home if they do have some form of electricity. Many of them do not have electricity or running water at their homes. One girl, she was doing A levels. And so she must have been about 17 years old. And we provided for her a new uniform. She was so happy.
Mm,
She said to us, "Do you know that this is the first time I've ever had a new uniform?"
17.
17. A
17.
new 17 years old, a new school uniform. So it's really giving the students, though, a whole new vision, empowering them as women, though,
Mm,
in a new way. And Carla, just to see the transformation. Many of them who could not hold their heads up, they are holding their heads up now. One of our students, she was the head girl of the school.
come on, somebody.
Yes, she was the head girl of the school.
Wow.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, there was another one. There are many of them now, many of the girls now who are actually prefects in their classes.
Come on. Tell the world what prefects means.
A
And the
prefect.
head student. Go ahead.
Oh,
Tell
yes,
the
yes,
world.
yes. A prefect. A prefect will be that girl who is the most respected girl in that class. If the teacher is not there, she's the one to stand and make sure that the class is organized, that the students do what they are to do. And so usually that student is voted by the class,
Mm,
as a student who is usually most well behaved, well respected, carries herself well, actually is a good performer in terms of grades, etc. And so the class would come together and they would select a prefect, someone in the class, that person in the class. If the teacher steps out, then that person takes over and organizes the class and makes sure that everything runs very well.
wow.
And the girls, they feel so proud about this position because they are given an extra tie on their uniform, and they are the only ones who wear that tie around the school. So they are the prefects.
Yes. I'm so taken aback and real thoughtful. It kind of in my heart as well to know that just a little bit
A little bit.
can go so
Yes, far.
far
Oh my
and
God.
change the lives and we're develop you that you are
Hmm.
your daughters, your development leaders and your daughters,
Yes,
leaders in your sons. Um, have you talked about service, about giving back? I mean, there's so many things I want to talk about as far as, you know, extracurricular activities. What else are you doing in addition to school? In addition for
hmm,
school fees, what are some of the other things that you're doing that you're telling your daughters? And when I say telling, it could be just from demonstration. It can be because it's included in part of your program. What are some of the extracurricular things that you guys are doing?
yes, yes. Well, now we have started, some curricular activities because of the economic status of the students in our program. They do not have opportunities for extracurricular activities.
Mm.
So the parents cannot afford to pay for them to go to like a soccer team, or we see our kids here, and they sometimes they are in soccer, karate, they are in gymnastics all at once.
Hmm.
But the kids don't have that opportunity, so they go from school right back to home,
Wow.
from school right back to home. And so what we have started is that on a monthly basis, we come together, we bring the kids together every month on the last Sunday of the month. And what we do there is that we bring them together, we for motivation, we have motivational speeches, we actually we are discussing topics now that go beyond the expectations of their culture, you know. So we discussed like what does mental health look like to you? What is someone who has a mental health problem? What does that person look like to you? And you would not believe what their response was. Oh, it's that man that's walking in the street and he doesn't know where he's going.
Wow.
I said, no, it could be the person sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
Do you see? And that blew them away, Carla, literally blew them away. So we had some workshops on that and we brought that out for them. And Carla, at the end of that mental health awareness meeting, the kids were lining up to talk to us with tears in their eyes because they had an opportunity to discuss what is actually a cultural taboo in their environment.
Because when you said tradition, and there's so many traditions
Oh,
that are still
oh,
that are outdated.
yes,
Let's be real, that
yes,
are outdated. And when we talk about education, is we're talking about the mind, the body, and the spirit. So we're talking about holistically the whole person,
yes,
because we can educate you and give you all the book learning as it relates to certain things, but we got to also remember that we're addressing that a human being.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's the approach that we take, Carla. So yes, so when we sponsor that student, it's not just to go into the school and to go back. We are we are sponsoring that whole being, that body, soul, and spirit of the child.
Yes.
You know, so we
Yes.
come together and we give them the workshop. One of the things that we have done before is that we started this, which the kids love. We started a dance program, Carla,
Mm, mm,
in which we hired a professional dancer, to come in and teach the children around their traditional dances,
mm,
and also drumming.
mm,
And oh, the kids loved it.
mm.
Just an opportunity, though. They loved it, Carla, and it brought them so much together. And that is actually the words of one of our students. They said, thank you for doing this, though, for bringing us together in this way.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, absolutely. So we had an opportunity for that dancing and drama and singing and drumming, and
Mm.
they loved it. They loved it. While on my last visit, they put on a really nice performance, which I totally enjoy. And I have seen the children there create their own drama scenes or their own drama skits and plays, and they wrote it themselves and they performed it themselves. And I remember sitting there and I was totally just impressed,
Mm. Mm.
to see the growth of the students over the years, though,
Wow.
by color, just giving them an opportunity that costs no more than one meal
A
taken from
month.
your rest a month.
Yeah. For one, just
One
one
meal a
meal.
month to change a life forever. You see, and you give that girl and you empower that girl with so much opportunity now, you know, that now they are looking back. They are looking back and saying now that, you know what, Mama Lindy? I want when I become a lawyer or doctor or whatever it is that I would like to look back and sponsor a student.
Service.
Yes, I'm
So you know
hearing
you're
that
doing
now.
service. Yes.
Yes, I'm hearing that. And that is so great because now they realize, though, that they have more, that they have so much more now that they say, wow, we can turn back and do this, though. We can give now.
Yes.
We can be the
Yes.
givers now, not only the
Yes.
receivers. You see?
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing how your organization is transforming the lives of young people all over. You got, well, in Uganda, and
Yes,
it's a beginning.
yes,
It's definitely a needed beginning. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to actually sit here and conversate with you. What are your plans now as your organization grow and prosper? How can people help? Um, Tell us how they can get in contact, where they can go look at more information, how they can reach you, how they can donate, how they can. And I think you do a yearly travel
yes,
as well. How
yes.
can they participate?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They can actually reach us. We do have a website. It is IHEG Uganda, IHEI Uganda dot dot org. You can go on there, and you can see us there as well. You can donate at the site, or you can sponsor a child and give that child an opportunity. We have children who are still on our waiting list. We have children who come to us now that the schools in the community, they know us so well, they actually contact us if there is a child in the community that actually need our services, especially children with potential
Mm,
who have no opportunity, you see, and we are always willing to step in. So we need more sponsors. We need the children to see more professionals before them, and professionals before them who look like them. You see? So, one of the things that I do as well is that if I do have a guest speaker, who is a professional, I like to bring a professional who actually look like the children,
yes.
themselves, because then they can relate and they can say, oh, you mean I can be her? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I would say certainly reach us through our website, www.ihei, Uganda. There you can donate. You can sign up to sponsor a child as well. You can reach us, and once a year we do travel to Uganda, which is a beautiful country, beautiful country. They call it the Pearl of Africa, and it usually feels like that when you are there. Certainly, if you would like to join us on that trip and experience the Pearl of Africa, you are welcome. You can meet the children, you can meet the families, and just be inspired. Just be inspired by the work that we do, changing the lives of these children and these young women and these young girls,
Yes.
for generations.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Lindy Ann. Before you leave, before we close this, I know this was organization was named in honor of your grandmother.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about your grandmother.
yes, 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 yes. The organization was named after my grandmother, Ivy Hayward. And my grandmother was a single mother, she had 11 children, seven survived, seven surviving children. And
Wow.
she raised seven surviving children after her marriage ended in divorce. And she raised 7 surviving children by herself.
Mm,
My
mm.
grandmother, yes, my grandmother lived with her 7 children in poverty, in Trinidad and Tobago, in Trinidad. And she lived actually there with them in poverty. But you know what? She raised them that they all had hope, that they all had hope. My grandmother was an educator herself. She was a teacher in the community. So they will call her Teacher Ivy.
Mm.
And therefore, she empowered her children as well with an education which they were able to pass down to us. And therefore I have this opportunity now to pass on to my daughter and also my daughters in Uganda.
Yes, yes. So you come from a powerful legacy,
Yes,
a legacy of like a phoenix rising out. It's a rebirth, rising out of the poverty and
yes,
being able now to help those. It's like, helping others arise, helping lift others up so they
yes,
too can turn around and help each other out. And I think that's just a perfect example of the way and the purpose we were created to do, not just to live selfishly for ourselves, but to actually help others out.
yes.
Up. So again, I thank you so much for coming
You're
and
welcome.
sharing about your organization. I'm really excited, and I know that God is going to continue to grow and blossom. And it's just gonna blow your mind with what God has in store for your life and the life of the people that's in your community. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Lindy.
you're very welcome, Carla. Thank you so much. It was great sitting here and sharing with you, and just talking with you in your garden. As you yourself, you
Yeah.
changed the lives of the girls, that you minister to through this garden as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're walking in the how they say we are our foreparent, well, our ancestors' wildest dreams. And
Yes,
I believe it's so important that we share what we've learned, our experiences, our life lessons, so we can empower the young women or the young families that are coming behind us. So it's my passion. It's what I love doing. I could do it all day. But
yes,
I got
yes,
other things
yes.
to I got other
I
things to
know
do.
about that passion, though. It's like you go to bed with it and you
You
rise,
wake with the same thing.
in the
Okay.
bed.
I'm like, I'm not
Yes,
gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna stop. And it's like, no, you can't. This is how
yes,
this is why you breathe, in and out. But I'm gonna
absolutely.
go ahead and end right here.
Yes.